All right, so this is my breakdown for free. This track was like blowing up in the last couple of days, so I thought I'd do and by blowing up, I mean it got like 4,000 streams out of the blue. I think someone put it in a playlist and it just got like a bunch of likes or streams, whatever you want to call them. So I thought, why not live a little breakdown? It was also my first track or original track that I mastered, mixed 100% on my own. So I can go through the mastering chain, or mastering chains here. It's off at the moment. I don't want to play with the mastering chain just for CPU reasons, I think, more than anything. I also had to freeze everything in the heat because it was just like pumping my laptop. So yeah, big fan of my own track here, not gonna lie. I love this one. It came together really nicely. I did steal some instruments from Times Like This, which is a track I did with Pessimist not too long ago. There's more like future bass, so this is like future bass chords and instruments with a nice drum and bass, I guess, drums to it. Ooh, I got some toms in there as well. But yeah, I guess I started this track real simple. I found these really nice chords, almost like a guitar. So yeah, very basic, just like your little triplets you got here. Triad chords. Couldn't tell you what they're actually called, but there's three of them. So very basic. I feel like the instrument sort of made up for that, layered them, and added in. That's just an arpeggio. Look, there's literally nothing else on this. It's just like, I think it's a organ in contact 5 that I use, arpeggiator, bit of swing on there just to sort of get it off the grid a little bit, and then I would have just filtered out the lows. Like, there's no need to unfreeze that for now. I'll dive into this stuff a bit more. That's obviously processed a lot better, but when it's this basic, I'm not going to bother unfreezing. And yeah, so that just sort of adds that. Same thing, same chords, but put an arpeggiator on it. Just sort of lays it. I sort of like how these two work together though. That's pretty fun. Yeah, and in terms of processing this, Endless Smile just for the build, I guess, towards before the drops that comes in. You can see here, so that's just very basic stuff. If you haven't used this, it is great. All different settings on how intense you want the build to be, and then it just makes it hectic when it builds. Sure, you've heard of this stuff. So it echoes out, and then I bring it back in. Bit of gain control for certain parts, just to make sure the volume's sitting where it's supposed to be sitting, or the gain, whatever you want to call it. Always chuck this on groups just to sort of squash it and bring it all together. By squashing, it's very light though. This is like not even hitting 4 here. So yeah, it's just a light bit of push just to sort of capture the peaks, and then nothing. Absolutely no EQ on it. How good's that? I think I don't really need to, because I didn't really add any coloring to this part here. So I've done all the EQing individually, so I don't think I need to do anything there. So that's hilarious. So yes, that's the intro. That's sort of plays throughout the whole track. Good little bed underneath everything there. It's a good thing to sort of just bring everything together. It's a nice bit of glue. Yeah, so that's very simple stuff you can use for just like your intros. I obviously would have stolen the chords from here, right? So I wrote this part first, which is like the synth. This is the synth that I stole from Times Like This. Very like classic future bass sort of feel, which I love. So, and then also it's like a very like 80s retro synth pop sort of. Very retro feel. There's a lot of layering going in on here. I'm happy to pull this stuff out of unfreeze it. You can see my fan. I'm very sorry that needs to happen. It's going to be like 40 degrees today, which is Celsius. Okay, so with the lead stuff here, again, very basic, just like very simple, massive chords. They're all saws. You can see exactly what I use, shall we? Unfreeze. Oh, look at that. Bit of a square / saw 2 mix. And then a bit of a G pulse as well. We love a bit of G pulse. I'm keen to see what G pulse sounds. There you go. Simple, massive. I don't think I've got anything else going on in there. It's just like I just use it for the basics, just to get the instruments. I do a lot of my processing using effects and plugins and stuff. So, because I stole this out of an older track, this is when I was still using just the normal EQ out of Ableton. I didn't bother changing it because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So like just cut at the lows there. These days, I'd probably do a bit more of a higher cut and then also a bit more of a steeper cut as well. Enhance, which I used to use heaps. I don't use it as much anymore because I can sort of bring out brightness in other ways, but enhance is still a good trick. Sort of just add a bit of brightness to it. It's very minimal, like it's like 5%. I sort of like it. It just brings out like a hiss, but in a nice way. It brings out that white noise that you sort of want in tracks. Back in the day when I was pumping OTT, again, just a little bit for OTT. Never want to overdo that shit. And then, yeah, this is obviously now just like, don't worry about that now because I just cut out all the lows anyway. I just wanted the highs for this because it is, again, part of a massive arrangement of like, not massive, but there's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4 bits laid here. There's a lot more going on in other groups, so that's that. This is very similar, just reverb, which I sort of turn on and off as well. Where does it turn on? Was it just on the whole time? Was it off the whole time? That's so funny. And the auto filter. I thought this freezing also just doesn't show automation properly. Am I wrong? It's just up the whole time. With the group though, or actually I'll go with just the last one. So that's this on its own. Bit of a melody in there, bit of white noise. So you got 1, the top, mid, lead, the lead melody, and then just some white noise to a bit more color for it. It's not a very hissy white noise either. It's very like, I don't know, it's not punishing to the ears. Yeah, and then all together, we love that. I added this one sort of later on in the track. It's just like a cashmere sample I've chopped up a vocal chop, and it's just to sort of add a bit more atmosphere to it. So that's fun. It just ties it all together. It's very subtle, but it's one of those things. I just like a lot of subtleties. I like playing heaps of melodies, and then as long as they're all in key, it usually works for me. The bass sounds great in this track. I'm actually very happy with the bass in this. Haven't frozen this one, which is great. Another thing you'll notice as well, how I bring a lot of the movement and feel to this is just through like automating things like fine frequency in the shifter, just to sort of bring out those pitch bends. Love doing that sort of stuff. I learned this as well off. I was playing the wrong track. Oh my lord. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, it just brings a lot of feel into it. Sorry, I was playing the bass, but I did that in the bass as well, using the frequency shifter. That's why I was listening to that. And they usually mimic each other, so they all sort of move in unison, which is important. So yeah, so hunched over. Yeah, I learned this trick off Leo Tricks, not personally, obviously. But I think he did a masterclass, and he did this, and he's just like just bunches up a bunch of multi-band compression, and it just makes everything pump. It's the most basic multi-band compression. You see, like there's just literally a little bit of boost. I mean, 6 dB is a lot, but it's also like then cutting it off with about a downwards compression on the right here, and then you just layer them, and it just it just works some magic on some things. It's definitely better on like your more synthy lead elements. So when you got it, just makes it tighter, brings it all together, makes it pump. It's very tasty. Big fan of using that. I use that on a lot now. And sometimes you don't want to like just boost the volume, so I'll turn the output and the last one down, so sort of you get all the benefits of like I guess like the squash without the volume, and then when you turn it off and on, it's a way to adjust it, actually see what difference it's doing rather than just adding volume. I probably should start saying gain, but volume's just same shit, right? Some nerd's gonna come after me. It's actually not. Not a shame. Sure. Then for the bass, same thing. Okay, this I made ages ago, probably for preset. I Know bass. Pretty sure it's that song I Know by Big Sean. I was like trying to go for that sort of like, if you know the intro of that song, it's like the really heavy bass that comes in. He was trying to make that. Ended up with this. Frequency shifter, give it some movement. Driver is an amazing plugin if you just want some filthy sounds. Sometimes a bit hard to control because it just like lets loose, but um, yeah, it can be used if used properly, and just it makes it hectic. Ooh. Look at that. Best sound. Delta modulator is just ridiculous. Get that in you. Gives it all that crunchiness to it, but it's not too much, I find. I think I would have turned it down a little bit. Yeah, so the bits are usually on 4. If you have them down on 4, it's like it's usually a punish. But if you turn it down a bit, you can find some nice spots. Highly recommend that. I don't know if I even paid for that, as in I think it's cheap. I think it's free, or it's definitely very cheap. So highly recommend that just to get grittiness out of some stuff. Limiter, just pump it with limiter. Just that was more for just compression's sake. And it's no sub in it, so I know there's not going to mess with the sub. Usually if you put a sub into a limiter, then that's when you get some issues. But because there's no sub in this, I've got the sub separately. I've also got the limiter on here. I do, but it's very minimal. It's very minimal in the sub, so that's okay. This is a bit different with -9. Obviously just some movement with some this just to cut out the grittiness in the verses. And then I unleash it for the chorus just to make it a bit, give it that different feel. This is for movement. My LFO tool is cooked. And like, I don't know if you can even crack this. I'm pretty sure it's free. If not, like, I don't know. It's been like this for ages and I just can't be bothered fixing it. I know the tools enough to get around it. And then if you move it slightly, sometimes you see that these like adjust and you can see, yeah, there you go. And you can see it. So I know what it's on. Yeah, that's just what's giving like that strumming feeling. Which I turn off for the verse as well. Bit of EQ, just ducking at those lows. Obviously didn't like 8,000 hertz. Just didn't want that in there. See if you can hear it. Yeah, it's just a hiss. That was just like a very little bit of tidying up. Bit of movement for the drop here. That was just to cut that out, but give some room for the fills as well. Those massive toms. And then that's pretty much all the synths. Put them together. Oh, last thing is the What is it? Effect. There we go. So this is from. I'm pretty sure this is from the main vocals. I just like stretched it out heaps. Yeah, I would have done this heaps. I'm actually just got 11 as well because I'm paying. I upgraded to pay for 12. So this is like really weird to me. I was using 10 up until about a week ago. But yeah, I would have stretched this out, chopped into like warped it, made it as long as possible. Just get those like put on texture as well. Get those. It's really nice sounding. Then like wrote my own melody using all the chopped up parts, just using auto pan. Don't really need anything else other than that. Bit of frequency, just the EQ there. Yeah, and just made something a bit more. What do you call it? The stutter effect that everyone's frothing over now. Been doing that. Don't even stress about it. It's not really like a lead, but it's sort of just one of those things where it's like everything's sitting nicely, and if you focus on stuff, you can hear different parts of it, and then when it all comes together, you get this, you know. I like this. It also works very well with the vocals. Again, they're all playing different notes, but they're all in keys. They just sort of form chords on their own, which is beautiful. That's what I try to do. I try to just like make as many chords using single notes from different instruments, and just as long as they sit nicely, can't go wrong. Easy. The drums, not too difficult here. I found a nice break that I like, chopped it up, got rid of the snares and the kick because I just want to use my own. Kept the snare, never mind me, but I layered it, put my own in there. Just to give it a body, obviously that's a bit very thin, not too much body. You add the body. Just gives it a bit of room in there. And then what else? Oh, these toms. I love using like big toms to sort of build. Bit of tension in the drop, but then also I use it here. Start off with a fat reverse. Layered these all. Love that. So with this, always do it manually. You want to have them separate, like you're actually hitting these drums. You're never going to hit them perfectly. There's always going to be a bit of natural lag between them all. So doing that just makes it so much better. Like compare that to this. Too much clicky. You don't get doesn't space them out. You're probably running some phase issues as well. Let's be real. That, whew, game changer. In terms of the layering, I think these are all, yeah, look, they're literally just frequency. Why did I do that for is the question. Of course. Start high. Bang, bang, bang. There you go. Just to give it a bit more of that. At falling, you know? Good. And also pan these just slightly. Look at that, 10 right, 10 left, 15 left, 15 right, just to give it a bit of space. Yeah, you don't want to do hard pans, this sort of stuff. You still want them coming down the middle, but just separating them just gives them, it makes them sit a bit nicer in the mix. And in terms of the tom, I didn't want too much sub in them, so I would have cut that out. 50, still I look boosting at 110. This is a tom rack, so I just trusted the preset. I may have adjusted a little bit, but I mean, the Pro Q3 filters, all the presets are pretty solid. Speaking of solid, you've got solid bus comp. God, good at segues. Bang. Again, not too much compression. Just glue. It's literally all it is, just to pull them all together. Bit of verb. I like to stack my verbs now, sort of almost like a send. You have the clean one coming through. Bit of that, bit of this. You just have more control over the volume. Like you literally just have a clean put the volume down 3 decibels on that, add in a second one, add in the verb, adjust the verb you want, make sure it's on 100%, and then you just adjust. Once the dry wet just becomes the volume knob, and then you can sort of have a lot more control over the gain, how much gain you want in the track. And then just a bit of multi-band compression. I think that's just that's just a standard preset, the one I love, and I was stacking in the one before. What was this for? Ooh, just a bit of output. This is a bit of gain control just for this one. Didn't want those too loud. Sweet, what have I missed? Got my kick. I don't know how much work I did with the kick. It seems like it's very basic. It's just a single kick. I don't even layer it. I think I was just happy with it. Can't go wrong. Bit of EQ. Didn't want too many highs. I mean, I think it sounds. If it works, it works. I'm not going to complain. As for the vocals, now look, basic splice vocals. I'm too lazy to get anyone else to sing on my tracks, which is unfortunate, but singers, you want to sing? Hit me up. Find me. These are my tracks. You like them? Be on my next one. These are the vocals here. Look, they're very basic in terms of like they came. This is dry. Okay, so it's dry. I don't think it's no same pitch. So I got the key right. As for processing the vocals, this is how I've started doing it as well. Let's do unfreeze. So it's some vocal processing. We've got same thing, just a clean. Obviously, just EQ'd the first bit, so you're not processing all this with frequencies I just don't want from the beginning. So just cut out some lows, cut out something that was hissing. Yeah, hissy part of the voice, just drop it. And that's not even a lot either, eh? It's like, what, -4? It's pretty decent, but it's like it's just, yeah, it's not taking up, the Q is high, so it's very thin. Yeah, so kept it clean. What's that clean sort of poking? That's still like almost at 0. And then what else? Delay. All right. So you can't hear too much delay here, but that is for these parts where it dies down like this. So I don't know where I learned this, how I figured it out. It might have been from George, who was like my mentor for a bit, absolute legend. But you just sidechain it to itself and then put the delay after the sidechain. You don't want, I just use like the glue one because it's very simple. And this just basically makes sure the delay only plays when there's no other audio playing in the small bits, or even when the audio is a bit softer. So you store the delay, you don't have to have a separate track for it, and then it just comes in when it needs to. I use it on every single vocal trick ever. I even use it on some instruments too if I just want the delay there but don't want it to be sort of overpowering and just like sitting there the whole time. So yeah, definitely use this. And then you can also like have effects in there as well. I had a pedal in there at one point, obviously was testing it out. So if you want the delay to be a bit different, at least you can basically have this delay. It's like having a separate track. Like you can have it and process it in any way you want, which is wonderful. Then a small verb, bit of Valhalla, supermassive, I love that. Big verb, same thing, probably using supermassive, just different settings. Both verbs. Not bad. And then a bit of ear candy. So what's this? There you go. I've delayed the whole track by 25. So it's a bit delayed. You get that sort of, it's called like the House effect or something, where it's just, I don't know how to say it. But you delay the same audio, delay it by anything over like 10 milliseconds, and it sort of gives it depth, gives it a bit of width, actually. Should I be saying width? And then, yeah, I think I've just used guitar rig for one of the phases. Yeah, phase 9, great, very simple. Guitar rig's got some hectic effects in there. And then again, just a bit of EQing. This is just for E-candy, so it's just to sort of float around. Add some depth to the entire vocal chain.
I've never felt so alive.
Again, found a frequency didn't like. Clearly.
Felt so alive in my life. 'Cause you make me.
Yeah, just cleans it up, gets rid of the harshness. That's it. So you know what I mean? Like, you use one thing here because you're using only one acapella. You don't have someone to record doubles and do all that. You got to sort of be creative, and this is how I be creative. Different reverbs, bit of like a phase, delayed audio in there, and then yeah, then you got this.
I'm free. Oh, and I'm loving all that you do.
This is dry, but it is already stacked, which is great. Same thing. Just like got a delay, got some verb in there, got some candy. Don't want to overdo it too much because it is a already stacked, so it's already like really large.
I'm free. Oh, and I'm loving all that you do. Can't you see? I'm crashing right into you.
Beautiful. What I did as well for the verses to sort of give them a bit of variety is I also chucked in an LFO for this part. So you can hear how it sounds like this. Yeah, so that's just a sign chucked into the middle. I like having the phase so it's in the middle here rather than like there. So that's how it usually comes stock. And then I think I just would have, yeah, the depth. So then just to sort of bring it into the chorus, build the tension even more. Starts here. By the time it gets here, it's then breakdown. The song basically repeats itself, but just to give it a bit more variety, I then started straight away from here. Got that part there. I brought the chords back, hadn't filtered, brought in the LFO straight away. Yeah, a lot of automating, as you can see. Automating is key. I was sort of taught a lot, just automate, because that's just how you just bring variety, a lot of natural feel to it. So definitely doing that. And then what else? Oh yeah, so I also did the chorus. It starts like this. Again, switch it up a little bit. I literally just switched it around. So it goes instrumental start, then vocal. I just switched it. Started off the chorus a little bit different. And then it goes into. I also stole these from times like this. It sort of breaks up the intro and the first verse. I think I used it through a few parts of the song, and it's just like a bass fill. It just breaks things up. Also I didn't go to the sub, did I? Yeah, for the sub, because I had the LFO tool in this to give it that strumming feel, I had just like these bass notes that I made ages ago, stuck these dirty subs, and I just broke it up, added in, what's it called, fades, just to sort of give it that strumming feel, but they don't cut off as much as just the end, so you still get a lot of sub meat through the most of it, I guess. And then yeah, when you play them together, they're not going to be identical, but I sort of like that. And that's also why I used the limiter, because there you can see there are some here. So I made these years ago. So this is when I was like useless at just any form of audio engineering. And yeah, I just want them obviously to be all be hitting the same decibels. So yeah, anything I'm missing? The outro. Same thing here. I just sort of made them, just filter them. So the LFO still comes in again. What's that? Where's the LFO on this? Yeah, I put the LFO on the actual auto filter itself. Makes sense. And then just automate the frequency, the filter, just to sort of give it a bit more life. I also did change the drums on this, I think. I went from and this filthy sub called Filthy Wobbles. I think I also got this from Leotrix's masterclass. And yeah, I mean, he's like the master of Ableton, especially stock instruments. So just using operator, it's like a very basic like saw wave. There's just the one of them that's on, like the rest are all off, as you can see. Erosion, amp, cut at the highs. I definitely cut at the highs more because it's usually really gritty. The effects, I don't think there's heaps in that. I love chimes. I'm always using chimes. Sweeps, vocal sweeps, clock. That's just a clock with the massive amount of reverb, and then I just sort of zero it off at the end. Again, a bit more. Whatever that is. Little tambourine, chuck the tambourine in there. Again, more sweeps, bring things together. And you get your riser. I think that is also mine as well. I made that ages ago. Same time I made the sub, I was like making a sound pack for someone. Didn't get accepted because I was like a year into production and just useless. But you know what? I still use them for myself because I know how to use them. So win for me. Just made myself a sample pack. And then what else is there? I think we've gone. I'm happy to go through the mastering chain. I've had this on just to sort of give it some volume. But we can go through how I mastered it. And again, this is one of my first mastered, so I'm probably going to find mistakes in it here. This also used for Task Force, but I worked on that with George, my mentor. He was helping me with that. So we just want to go through the drop. Usually now I probably start with an EQ, not the solid bus, but it is what it is. Again, learning as we go. This is the chorus. Now, a lot of compression here, but it is a mixed bus parallel. So it's just like you've got parallel. It's like 50-50 essentially. You got a lot of compression and you got nothing at all. So you sort of get the best of both worlds, a bit of the squishiness, but without any of the distortion or the, I guess, just like overbearing squashiness you can get from it. Because you can see like the threshold all the way down, but the attack is up, the release is low, so it just bounces back. Ratio high though. It just brings everything together. It's wonderful. So got that. EQ, just cut at the lows. My mate Josh taught me this because he's an amazing producer as well. You want to have this in linear phase just to not mess with any of the amplitude where you don't want it to mess with, and also the phase. Zero latency, you can have those issues. I think natural phase is fine, but linear is probably the best you want to go for. And it's also on high, so it's like one of the better qualities. I even do that now. I honestly now do it. So you've got like a brick wall, and then you also then chuck in like this at like 24, and then sort of bring that. Oh, wrong one. So then you sort of bring that over. I sort of do that now. I sort of roll it off and just have it cut off at 30, so you get nothing else underneath that. But that's what I did for this track again. I'm learning as I go. Every track I'm mastering on my own now. I'm just doing better and better, I find. And then I sort of go straight into the clipper. Also bring in some saturation. I saw a video talking about how if it's like this, if you're using standard clip, just amazing. If it's like this, it's like a hard clip, so you actually introduce a lot more distortion. Doesn't work as well. Whereas if you introduce a soft clip saturator, it's a lot more gradual. It's not so hard, so a lot less room for distortion. I think it also, I find it lets me clip a lot more as well. So you can get some more volume out of it and introduce less distortion. Yeah, and all that red part there, you can see I'm just cutting off those peaks that you just don't want. Don't know why this is even on. Don't need it on for this track, but again, do I know what I'm doing half the time? No. Then this I just used for like a last second EQ, I guess. Pop Tight Master. This is so rogue. I love it. Pop Tight Master. I liked it. I found it in the presets, so I liked it. It gave it some of that brightness that I was sort of looking for. I guess it sort of just adds random spots. It's not even the brightness. It's more just like the mids. But again, it's doing quite a bit. And then you got just the final. Again, I've even chucked in more saturation here. I've got the ceiling on at 0, and then I've actually brought the gain down. I've done some weird stuff on this, but I'm actually happy that it's loud compared to other tracks. It's still probably should have warned you if it's loud. But yeah, what's it hitting for the laughs? -6.5. This is also why I had this off the whole time. It's just filming / this is just not going to work. But that's my track. I hope you enjoyed. Go stream it if you liked it. It's called Free. Did I even say that at the beginning? I did. It's called Free. Again, start to finish, completely myself. Production, mix, master. Clearly. I think it sounds great. Definitely always room for improvement. But if I worried about it too much, I think it's good. George, one of the things he taught me was just like, art is never done. It's released. It sort of stuck with me like hard. There's some stuff I was like, yeah, it's great, but is it the level of Skrillex? No. But am I Skrillex? No. And yeah, if I just keep just trying to make things better and better and better, like in order for me to make this track as good as that, I'll have to rip it apart and have to go into every little thing, and that would just be hell. And then it's not art anymore; it just becomes pain. So I liked it. It sounded good on my headphones. It sounded good on my laptop speakers. I have a sound bar with a sub, like a nice Samsung sound bar for my TV, which I just AirPlay, and it sounds great on that. So if I pass those tests, if I pass the car test, I'm not going to complain. It's loud enough. Again, Spotify's going to take that volume down anyway. That's it. I released this through my friends at Curie Collective, so shout out to them for supporting my track. And it's doing well. It's like my #1 play track at the moment on Spotify. Let's suss it. Where am I? Here I am. There you go. 13,000. #1. Free, baby. We live. So yeah, it's about to overtake I'll Try. Not bad. And thank you for watching. I'll leave you to it. Enjoy.